Hey everyone, this is the engineering offsite preview on the topic of community contributions. I'll be going over the current state, our progress, wins and opportunities. Then we move on to analysis and our strategy, and lastly, our next steps. Current status. We have an OKR this quarter to increase unique contributors to 150 per month. In February, we had 129. In March, however, we dipped a bit to 120. This is a month that we did not have any outreach. I will explain that in a bit. And then for the current month, April, we are at 29, and it is in progress. In March, the community relations team advised to skip doing a hackathon, and they'll be doing a front-end themed event in April instead. I want to point out that the unique contributors are increasing, the top chart. However, the total number of MRs being merged seems to be trending lower. We briefly hit our MR target in Jan at, I believe, 24 million MR dollars, but it's still proven to be volatile. Our MR coaches have increased. Thank you to the development department. It's actually our highest ever. Our process is now more efficient. My team has been optimizing internal community MR tooling and routing. And because of this, we are able to increase the number of community contributions despite a lowering trend of MRs overall. So we are being efficient, reviewing first-time community contributions. Our partnership with the TAMs remains strong. They have connected us with 2 customers who are eager to contribute. Lastly, a marquee self-managed customer provide us with a turnkey script to check environments before doing a disaster recovery failover. We still need to polish this code up, and it would be of value to other self-managed customers too. I believe that this is also another key area that self-managed customers can contribute to. On to opportunities. I mentioned before, the overall contributions, overall merge MRs have not increased in recent months. It seems to be stagnating, or maybe if you look at the chart closely, maybe even trending down a bit lower. So we need more outreach to increase the total footprint and influx of MRs coming in. The outreach impact will be seen 2 to 3 weeks after the event. So it's not that you want to increase community contributors this month, you do the outreach this month. You need to do it a month prior, because there's a lead time for MR creation, review, and merge. And finally, it will impact the KPI afterwards. This is also the first time I'm hearing from MR coaches that are free. We have a lowered amount of MRs and increased number of coaches. This is good. I think this points to internal readiness, but still we can take on a high influx of MRs, and that points to the need to do more outreach and getting more contributions. The chart below shows on average how many MRs a contributor submits. It's hovering around 2. It's actually the same as 2 years ago. Going into a deeper analysis, the top chart shows created versus merge MRs. But overall, you can see both create and merge MRs trending a bit lower for the past 2 quarters. The lower chart shows regular versus recurring contributors. We have started to track recurring contributors. These are people that have merged at least 1 MR per month for the past 3 months. This is important because if you are to grow These group of contributors are the foundation of our progress. We want to see more people keep coming back to us and contribute. Right now, recurring contributors are around 10% of overall contributors. Next, an overview of the strategy. We have identified 4 key areas that will help us drive the future of contributors and contributions. First is expanding the outreach. Second, scale the community. Third, improving the contribution velocity, which would ultimately result in an increase in contributions. The fourth is increasing the contribution value, which would help in increasing the number of contributors. Next, a bit of an expansion on those 4 areas. Expand the outreach. I mentioned outreach before. This needs to be expanded further. Currently, our outreach efforts have been limited. We are also relying heavily on the community relations team. Within the outreach, there are 4 sub-projects. The first is increasing the contribution backlog. Second, scaling the contributor events. Third, organizing office hours. And lastly, increasing the social presence of the activities we're doing with the community. Next is scaling our community. We want to turn customers into contributors, create community teams, and define domain specializations for the contributors. I believe we can achieve much more if we have community teams that consist of multiple domain expertise, which is very similar to what we have internally at GitLab. For example, a team may consist of backend engineers, a test engineer, and a design expert operating as a team in the community. We could scale this out to multiple teams and have them work alongside us. Next, improving contribution velocity. In addition to providing an outstanding and efficient contribution process, we want to also improve the quality of contributions and the review time. We want to up-level the contributors to submit code that's easier to review, making sure they run the tests, making sure that the changes that we merge is of high quality. We have heard from feedback that our contribution guides are fragmented. So having a unified flow, simplifying it down would help. We leveraged automation and tooling to route MRs to the right place for review, improve the development environment, and make sure their productivity is high. And lastly, having a common practice between the product group teams, ensuring that there's coaching, there's a clean backlog, a clear backlog, and that we have maintainers to review changes incoming into all the product groups. Lastly, is to increase the contribution value. To incentivize, attract, and retain contributors, we need to increase the value of their contributions. This can be done with recognition, awards, but also providing career advancement materials. We've seen that contributors not only want to contribute to the greater good, but they also want to refer to their track record and achievements when they apply for jobs, when they apply for scholarships. So providing a summary of their achievements, their track record at GitLab is also going to be impactful. Next steps. We're going to close out this quarter strong. April will be our front-end outreach month. For quarter 2, we expect to have a similar set of OKRs to continue to push for progress. On the contributor success team side, I'm proud to say that we have a leader for this function joining us next week. His name is Nick Wienhoff. Please extend him a warm welcome. He'll be helping us scale out this team and also hire for the remaining team members. Onto engineering partnerships. We need help increasing MR coaches, ensuring that maintainership to review MRs coming in is adequate. And if you have ideas for the community to contribute, whether it's security work, UX work, or etc., we'll be happy to hear about them. We're going to continue on our strong partnership with customer success and TAMs and onboard customers who are eager to contribute and turn them into contributors. That's it for the overview. I hope this is helpful, and I look forward to our discussions.